History remembers kings and wars, but it forgets the dark corners, the stories no one can explain, the ones that vanish in footnotes or are erased entirely. Tonight, we open those doors. We follow three mysteries across time and ice, into villages with no people, journals that disappear, and letters written by the dead. Welcome to the echoes of history. In the bitter cold of November 1930, Joe Label, a seasoned Canadian fur trapper, was making his usual route through the Kivalik region of what is now Nunavut. He expected warmth, smoke curling from chimneys, and laughter from the Inuit community near Anjikuni Lake. But what he found was dead silence. Every hut was intact but empty. Fresh stew sat over cold embers. A child's toy lay beside a handmade blanket. No signs of struggle, no blood. No footprints leaving the area. Label ran to the nearest telegraph office miles away, and the RCMP responded. What they found was stranger than fiction. Dog sleds were frozen in place. The dogs had starved, still tied to their posts. Graves from the nearby burial site were open, but the bodies were gone. Eyewitness accounts claimed strange blue lights had been seen in the sky in the days prior. Skeptics today dismiss the story as sensationalism or myth, but the RCMP did file reports, and to this day, no one has confirmed where those 30-plus people went. No migration, no weather event, no logical reason. Some theorize a UFO encounter. Others suggest a mass spiritual event, a collective walk into the wilderness believing they were summoned. But no bones were ever found, and no one ever came back. Berlin, 1949. 4 years after the end of WWUDWT, the world was trying to rebuild. But in the ashes of old secrets, something strange began to stir. It started with letters, delivered by hand, no return address. Each envelope was addressed to a former Nazi official, the name signed at the bottom, Ernst Lenz, a Gestapo officer hanged at Nuremberg in 1945. The letters weren't just vague threats. They detailed private information, conversations whispered in bunkers, exact dates of atrocities, even descriptions of jewelry worn by victims. And at the end of every letter, each sieht Deutsch noch. I still see you. Recipients started to vanish. Dr. Otto Grunwald gone. Apartment left unlocked. Carl Ebert found drowned locked. Carl Ebert found drowned in his own bathtub, locks unbroken. 7 names gone without a trace by 1952. Berlin police investigated but found no break-ins, no fingerprints, and no motive. A historian in the 1980s tried to re-examine the case. He published excerpts from the letters in a book draft. 2 weeks later, his house was destroyed by fire. The manuscript? Unrecoverable. To this day, no one knows who wrote the letters or how they knew such secrets. Some whisper it was Lenz's ghost seeking justice, seeking justice. Some whisper it was Lenz's ghost seeking justice. Others believe it was an underground vengeance network, former victims striking back. But the line remains. I still see you. The Franklin Expedition, 1845. 2 ships, the Erebus and Terror. Their mission? Find the Northwest Passage, a sea route linking the Atlantic to the Pacific. But somewhere in the ice, they vanished. Dozens of men stranded. Temperatures below -40. Eventually, they abandoned ship, starved, froze. Some ate their crewmates. For 170 years, the ships were lost. Then in 2014, search teams discovered the Terror, perfectly preserved beneath the Arctic. Inside, uniforms still hanging, journals, sketches, a needle halfway through stitching fabric. But something was missing, the captain's journal, Sir Francis Crozier's logbook, which should have detailed their final days. Fast forward to 2017, a woman in Orkney, Scotland, received a chest from her late grandfather, a sailor in the 1950s. Inside, leather-bound journal, soaked, ink faded, but the signature read F.M. Crozier. Final entry. The ice is not just ice. Whispers. I do not dream anymore. The journal was authenticated and sent to the British Museum, but it never arrived. Vanished en route. The shipping crate arrived, sealed, but inside was a block of frozen water. Nothing else. Some say the Arctic doesn't give back its secrets. Others believe the men met something ancient, and someone didn't want the truth out. History is not just battles and borders. It's what's missing. The stories they can't explain or won't let you find. The village that vanished. The letters from the dead. The journal was lost to whispers in the ice. Some say these mysteries are solved, but the evidence disagrees. And if these stories echo through time, maybe it's because they're still happening. This was the Echoes of History.